up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and this is actually the second time I'm recording this because the first time I recorded it, I didn't hit the record button. So actually, I didn't record it at all. I was just talking to nothing. That's awkward. It's really awkward. Just so you know, when I get done and I look at it and I'm like, yep, didn't click the record button. Yeah, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all. But let's just get right into the video. You guys know that, yes, I will be having a breakdown of the Minnesota Vikings game, but that will be coming out tomorrow morning, where I also have my predictions. So maybe 8, 9 o'clock. It may be a premiere even. Yes, it may be super exciting. So definitely go check that out before the game. I'm going to do it before the game because I'm going to have my prediction there anyways. And also, it's Saturday, so I'm going to use tonight to be able to edit and stuff like that and get it set up for tomorrow morning. So make sure you guys check it out. Also, I want to get the gaming channel going. You guys need to let me know what kind of games you want to see if you're subscribed over there. I know I want to do the scary games, but they freak me out. So let me just throw that in there. Anyways, let's get into what we're talking about. So basically, Detroit Lions drafted Hockenson with the 8th pick of the draft, and he came in this year with a lot of high expectations. Now, why did we draft him? Let's start that off. Well, a couple years back, we drafted a guy named Ebron, and Ebron was, again, a first-round pick for the Detroit Lions. It really didn't work out very well. Everybody knew him as that tight end. It just could not hold the ball. He dropped everything, and we decided, hey, man, this ain't going to work out. So we moved on from Ebron. Well, what's our next move? We get a couple of placeholders, I guess I would call it. Luke Wilson, Levine Toilolo, those type of players. We bring in those guys that are solid, but they definitely were not the answer for us. So then we take our opportunity with the 8th pick in the draft to take what is so called to be the best tight end in the draft, and that is Hockenson out of Iowa. So we draft this man, and we're expecting a lot of big things out of him, okay? There was comparisons drawn to Robert Gronkowski. There was saying that he was the best natural catcher coming out of the draft, the best hands in the draft. There was also talk that he was the best blocking tight end out of the draft. And all of this stuff just put a lot of pressure on Hockenson. And the question was, can he perform? What will he do in the NFL? Because as we know, NFL and college football, very, very big difference. Okay, so Hockenson comes out in his first week. He absolutely impresses everybody. We're like, dang, if he's going to do this, we are good to go. And yes, stats here may be a little skewed because of that, but that's sports. That's sports in general, right? If I drop 60 points and the next week I only drop 20 and I still average 40 points per game, you can't take away the fact that I average 40 points per game just because I dropped 60 on that bad team. The fact is I dropped 60 on that bad team. I'm still averaging 40 points per game, so it is what it is. That's, kind of how numbers can be skewed here. Now, obviously, the Detroit Lions have only played in 5 games up to this point. We're really going to be comparing Eric Ebron. Now, Eric Ebron is one of those guys that last season had a great year. Now, let me let you know first, why am I comparing these two players? Well, the Detroit Lions drafted Eric Ebron, and like I kind of said in that, opening spiel, they basically drafted Eric Ebron to be their tight end in the first round. Now we drafted replacement basically in the first round, Hockenson. That's why I'm going to compare them to really see, because there's also some people that are really upset with Hockenson so far and be like, hey, man, this guy's really turning into Ebron. He just can't catch anything. But if you look at some numbers, that's not exactly the case. Now, obviously, when you look at advanced metrics and statistics and stuff like this, these things can be a little skewed because it is kind of how you want to look at it. But I found this website called Player Profiler. So I'm going to stick to the stats on Player Profiler for both of these guys, because if I change that changes too many variables, and all of a sudden, now none of these stats are even relevant. So I'll keep them on the same page. That way it's fair, and it actually makes sense what I'm about to be talking about. I don't talk about stats like this too often, but I think this is really interesting. Cool website, so you guys should definitely check this out. Now, Hockenson has been known to have a lot of drops this season, and people are kind of upset about that. Now, some people only want to say he only has 1 drop. Some people say he only has 2 drops, and that's just because they take into consideration the difficulty and stuff like that. But here I have some percentages because Player Profiler hooked me up. They actually didn't hook me up. I just found it by myself. But if you want to hook me up, I'm right here, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, basically, I'm going to start off with some fantasy numbers because I don't really like fantasy, but I thought I'd throw this in there. Eric Ebron, 6.9 fantasy points per game. Hockenson, 9.1. I want to throw that in there. I know there's some fantasy football owners out there and they're like, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah, I see myself. Okay. Actually, I don't see myself. I mean, I kind of do, but stop. I want to throw that in there. I'm not really big into fantasy football, but I thought I would throw that in there just for the heck of it. Okay, basically, we're going to look at efficiency here. Now, there is a thing on this called catchable target rate, okay? And catchable target rate is very important, and I just have it. Okay, catchable target rate basically means the percentage of total targets that were catchable. Easy enough. Okay, Eric Ebron has 80% on those, right? He's 80%. 80% of catchable target rate, okay? 80% of the passes that are thrown to him are catchable. That's the exact same with Hockenson, both 80%. That's cool and all. But now you have to look at, okay, how many of those passes are he actually catching? Well, next up you look at catch rate, okay? And catch rate basically divides the total number of receptions by the total targets to represent pass catching efficiency. So basically, Eric Ebron sits at 45%. Meanwhile, our tight end, TJ Hawkinson, sits at 60%. And that's all good and fun. Let's also take a look at true catch percentage. Now, this is different because true catch percentage takes into consideration the difficulty of catching the pass and all that kind of stuff. And then it puts it into a true catch percentage, just like the true shooting percentage in NBA, right? It's the same type of thing just with football. Well, when you look at Eric Ebron, his true catch percentage right now sits at 56.2%. Not bad. But you look at TJ Hawkinson, his sits at 75%. And when you also maybe want to say, oh, well, wait. Eric Ebron has way more targets. Well, TJ Hawkinson, for the catchable rate, has 20 of those targets. Meanwhile, Eric Ebron has 16 of those targets. So TJ Hawkinson even has a bigger pool to select from when you look at these statistics. Now, also, we have to look at the drop rate, right? How often are these guys dropping passes? Because that definitely has to do with efficiency. Eric Ebron has a 20% drop rate, and that, my friend, is not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. So I know there's fans that are definitely upset, okay? There was articles going around. You guys know. There was articles going around saying, man, Ebron's turning into old Ebron. Well, yeah, that's not good. Well, let's compare that to TJ Hawkinson, where his drop rate is only at 4%. Again, very different from Eric Ebron. Now, some people may be saying, well, this ain't fair. You can't compare these two guys. We knew he was a bust. There's no reason to even compare these guys at all. But I think there is a reason, because there are people saying that these guys are playing on a similar level. And we also have to keep in mind, this is a rookie, right? This is a rookie here. He's not going to be a crazy world beater at this point. I mean, we love him to be, but he's not going to be, so we can't super really expect that. But also, coming out of the draft, like I said, he was known for his blocking ability, and his run blocking ability was something that we were hoping would be great. Well, out of 70 tight ends who have played at least 20% of offensive snaps, he ranks 20th in tight ends, which honestly isn't that bad, okay? When you look at some other tight ends like Hayden Hurst, Noah Fant, O.J. Howard, those guys rank in the bottom 10 of the league in run blocking. So there's definitely some good things that we're seeing from TJ Hawkinson. Yes, he's dropping the ball here and there. Yes, he had a big drop in the red zone. But at the same time, Hawkinson hasn't been completely awful. And again, some of these numbers, people like him because they're like, ooh, they're advanced, they're metrics and stuff. And other people are like, this is stupid. I just like watching the game and seeing what I see. And if you're with that, I'm cool with that because I like doing that too. I'm really an eye test type of guy. I watch the game, I see what happens, I'm like, look, this is how I feel. And if that's what you want to do and you feel like, hey man, he can't get the job done, okay, yes, he dropped a big pass, and I wish he would have caught it because that would have made a big difference in the game. But at the same time, if you look at the numbers, if you're a numbers type of guy, I know there's some of you guys out there, this is for you. If you're not, at least, let's not say he's the next Eric Ebron at this point, okay? Because he hasn't been playing that bad, but I will agree with you. I would love to see him play even better. Now, with the hurdling, he basically said, I'm not going to stop hurdling, okay? I'm going to still do it. But, man, please be cautious. I don't want to see you get hurt. That was a scary scene when that happened. So, let me just hear your comments below again. Preview, breakdown coming tomorrow versus the Minnesota Vikings tomorrow morning, so make sure you guys come back for that and even be a premiere. Ooh, that would be exciting. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'm out.